We'd like to start out by thanking our valuable sponsors. Sense of Satisfaction by Cricket is the place for all your fragrance needs. Plus, she's got products to heal what ails your skin and your hair. Shop at scentsbycricket.com. Special thanks to our valued sponsor, John Travis, a financial coach and certified Kingdom advisor with Richard Young Associates, a registered investment advisor. Thanks goes to Anna Patterson, my sister in the Lord who faithfully gives to this ministry every month. And to our newest sponsor, LaToya Gerard of Preach the Word Worldwide Network. She is a valued sponsor and a major encourager regarding this ministry. We need and would love to have you as a sponsor. Absolutely no gift is too small. Please note the info regarding giving throughout and at the end of the show, and help us spread these testimonies around the world. Please note that the views and opinions expressed on this show are not necessarily the viewpoints of our sponsors. It's time to hear the story, make the connection, learn the lesson, and gain the wisdom. Are you ready? Let's get charged and be changed. The Sister Speak Brother Break Show. Conversations on grace, healing, and deliverance. This is Marcy Bush. Come on, let's journey together. Hello, and thank you for joining us today for the Sister Speak Brother Break Show. Of course, I have another special guest, and I'm real excited about this because this person. Now, what's funny is the guest we had prior to this was from one side of the Petticoat Junction. This guest is from the other side of the junction. This is my little cousin who we were talking before, and it's funny. That's almost all I know is that this is my little cousin. And I do know that we had this connection, and I guess I felt it when I saw, it's been a few years ago now, she put something on Facebook about either somewhere she was speaking or something. I was like, oh wow, I didn't know she was a Jesus girl, like for real now. And so that excited me. And since then I've just seen some of the things, been able to be a part of some of the things that she's doing. And so I just really want to know about her journey. So today we have with us, I don't know what, she has many names because I was thinking this one, I'm like, child, this is Jakell Graham. And then I'm like, no, this is Danny Kell. No, this is Danielle Shannonhouse. So this is Danielle Jakell Graham Shannonhouse. So we are glad to have her. Hey girl, how are you?
I'm doing awesome. I'm so glad to be here.
Yep, I'm glad too. Like I said, just thinking back, and I'm like, yep, I know that's Daisy and Wayman's daughter.
Mhm.
I know the grandparents. And what's funny, I thought about it this morning. I'm like, in all the names I lose, because even though I was a teacher 20 plus years,
Yeah.
everybody was sweetie, baby, Suge, because I'm horrible at names.
Yeah.
But what is funny is, as apart as we've been, I always remember Jakell. And I think that, like I said, more recently, I mean, it felt like when I would just see you here and there, because you know the algorithm on Facebook is weird, so you don't always see people's stuff. But when I would see you and see you talking about Jesus and excited about Jesus, it made me excited for you. And
Yeah.
so I'm glad I get to hear your journey today.
I'm excited. I'm excited to share it. And it's just I'm already like I'm looking around like let me get my tissues because I already feel like this is gonna be emotional.
I got mine, forgot to tell you to get yours in case.
Man, it's just amazing like to hear you even say she's a Jesus girl. That got me like a little emotional because haven't always been, just from the start. And I was telling the girls last night, like they were asking and they were like, who is she and where is she? I was like, well, this is our cousin. It's like you said, that's all we know. And I was
Mhm.
talking to one of my to my very best friend on the phone this morning, and she was like, "You finna go somewhere?" And I was like, "No." I was like, "Marcy is in my hometown." I was like, "So it's virtual." And she
Right.
like, "Girl, Marcy's been knowing me since I came home from the hospital."
Now, who is this?
This is my friend Kedra.
Okay.
I was like, "No," I was like, "She's been knowing me since I came out."
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
was the baby bundled up,
Uh-huh.
because
For
we were was born around the same time as Jessica and then my cousin Keela. So we all little bundles at the church.
yes.
Ain't
And
that
and what's so crazy is because I've been gone. For those who don't know, we had the same home church, Zion Fair Missionary Baptist Church in Dry Branch, New Ellington, South Carolina, but for real, Aiken, South Carolina.
right?
Um, so yeah, and I left Zion Fair and went to Shining Stars, which is now New Beginning, in 1997. So I've been gone a long time. So y'all were young, when I left. Um, and so I didn't get to see like all the things y'all did in the choir and all that, I got the younger stages. So
Yeah.
I'm really like for real. This has been one of the things that's kind of been bubbling up like, man, I can't wait to hear because I always say where there's a great anointing, there was a great struggle. Um, I believe that people who are passionate about Christ, 8 times out of 10, they were passionate about something else before. And it's that love of Jesus, that overwhelming, he rescued me kind of thing that then translates that passion to the other side. So I just
Rescue is not even the word for me. Like he 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 did like a military co-op mission, snatched me out of darkness. Like I was
girl.
I was a hostage over.
Okay. Okay. So look, let's start with Lil Jakell. Tell me what you remember about your child self, your little self, the little girl.
Little Jakell was so I have an older brother. Jawan is 5 years older than me. So he was doing his thing, just as an older brother. So I kind of was raised with not as an only child, just because Jawan was already like that teenager. So things that I wanted to do, he didn't want to do. It was like I don't want to do that, especially with a little sister, a baby sister. So me, mom, and daddy did a lot of things together, and they took me a lot of places. But with that, I always kind of battled with depression as a kid, just feeling like I wasn't good enough, I wasn't special enough, I wasn't pretty enough, I didn't. And it's not that my parents didn't to they were great. They were great parents. Anything that I asked for, anything that I material wise things, they got it for me. I had my grandparents. Everybody loved on me. I was the out of my dad's side, I was the youngest grandchild, so I was the spoiled grandchild. My aunts and uncles, they spoiled me. I was I was loved by all. I had a great relationship with my cousins. I thank God, no trauma ever happened to me. I never had to worry. When I went to aunts and my uncles or my cousins, none of that. But I just always struggled with my own identity and just depression and not being comfortable in my own skin. And I think it started at that point where I was kind of like a people pleaser. I just wanted to make everybody happy. I wanted to say what you wanted me to say. I wanted to do what you wanted me to do. So that as we transition into my adulthood, that was something that Jesus had to free me from too, was just I didn't even know who I was, just because I was just this little girl and I wanted to be who my dad wanted me to be. If he liked this thing, if like I remember My dad loved basketball, the NBA. So I love NBA and the basketball. And my mom loved this. So I loved what she loved. I just turned into what everybody else, what they
Mhm.
like. And it caused a lot of depression for me and a lot of fearfulness in me because I always was scared that somebody was not happy with me or that I wasn't doing something. And anytime I got in trouble, it was just, oh, I want to die. I just like everybody hates me. And it was just, I had those thoughts as a kid. I remember one time I told mama, I was like, if everybody talking about getting to heaven, why I can't go now? Just because it was just a bout of depression and not really. And if we think about mental health in the Black community, that wasn't even a topic. That wasn't even an inkling like, oh, maybe she needs to talk to somebody. No, that was, girl, you better straighten up. Don't be saying crazy stuff like that.
Yes.
But
Yeah.
so at little Jakell, I was always smiling and happy, but I was always just kind of trying to find my way and trying to please this person. And then it caused a lot of depression for me at
Mhm.
that age. And then a lot of like, as I started to transition into like, the elementary school age into the middle school age, my friends were always like stellar students. And I was just barely making the mark and just frustrated and didn't know why.
Mhm.
Later, I found out I had ADHD all these years.
Okay.
Struggling with this and just trying to keep up and trying to maintain my grades and trying to make my parents happy and be in the band because my cousin was in the band or do this because this was in it. So I was doing all these things and then struggling when I couldn't keep up or struggling when I couldn't make the mark. So that that's who little Jakell was. It wasn't, like I said, it wasn't bad. It wasn't anything. I was never taken advantage of. I was never abused, anything like that. It's just my own personal struggle of trying to figure out, well, who am I? Because I was everything to everybody, if that
Right.
makes sense.
Oh, absolutely. Because you're sitting here, I'm like, is she telling her story or mine? Um,
Right.
yeah, seriously, because it feels so alike. Wonderful parents, wonderful family. Like you said, none of the traumas that a lot of people experience, but that just this unreal amount of pressure,
Yeah.
self-inflicted,
Right.
to
Self-inflicted.
be, yeah, to be perfect. And it took me a like till I was grown, till probably, oh, yeah, 45-ish maybe, um, to realize like perfection ain't even real. Um,
That part.
yeah, it's like the Lord was saying, you're trying, because I would find that I would either go all in or do nothing. Go all in or do nothing. And the all in wasn't always, it wasn't even like for me, so to speak. It was what I thought people wanted.
Right.
But then I felt like I had to be, like I said, the perfection thing, it was on me. And God was like, that doesn't even exist. That's not me. That is not me. And it's really like this whole thing of works. And I found it, just even as we're talking, I found that I was kind of doing that with God for
Yeah.
a long time. Can I can I make sure I show up and do it right? Can I pray long enough? Can I go to church enough? Can I do and it's like God is like, but what are you, because it becomes a performance dimension.
It that part.
Yeah.
And a lot of the things that I did was performances. Like I got in marching band because my older cousin, she played the clarinet. So I was like, well, I want to do that too because she did it, and I looked up to her, and just that was a performance. Then my parents were so proud of me then because I was in the band, and then they were so proud of me then because I was in the Silver Spirit marching band, and then they were so proud because I was on the track team. So it was always it was even for me.
Hmm.
It was
It was to make people proud. It was, I mean, like I said, it now I'm understanding why we click, because and again, it was not that people were pressuring us. It's just like something that is somewhere, a seed, I believe, gets planted that, oh, this gets me. And it's not even because what is the word? It's not even that you want attention, except approval. Approval.
Approval.
Yeah, it
But
becomes approval addiction.
I think in our culture, and I listened to a sermon, it was some months ago, and the lady, she did a phenomenal job about the things, like you said, a seed that was planted. She was saying that, just biologically, sometimes those seeds are planted before we're even born, you know, because, and I think in our, just being in a Southern African American culture, it always was your house, your front room got to be clean. Your house has to be immaculate. Your shoes have to be clean. You have to have that bone as a little girl. When you go to church, and shoes better not have no scuffs. You got to be clean. I remember my mama, we would be at church and I would get tired. Mama would put that little paper on her lap so I couldn't put the hair grease on her skirt, It's just like, just
Yeah.
our culture, I think it's just so, then it was taboo to have stuff like what happens in this house or what happens in this family stays in this family. So nobody shared their
Right.
struggle or
Right.
their, well, I'm feeling a little bit down too. And as now that I'm an adult, I see how that has crippled so
Yeah.
many people and it's broken so many families.
Right.
Just things that, well, we don't talk about that, we don't discuss that anymore. That stays in the house where that happened, and nobody discusses anything because it's all about this appearance. And I think culturally
Mhm.
that has been ingrained in us, just when you go to school to be, you can't, and not saying that it's because I send my kids to school clean, but sometimes my 8-year-old, if JC want to wear polka dots and stripes, I'm like, I ain't even fighting with you. I ain't even fighting.
Right. Right. Choose your battles.
Yeah, right. But that's how we grew up. It's like you had to be prim and proper. And a lot to just being African Americans that you don't want to, we had been through a lot, just as a people. So especially being in the South, that
Mhm.
was like, even mama, now I was laughing at mama the other day. One of her friends that she's been friends with for 30, 40 years was coming over. Mom, pick these papers and paper towels up. I'm like, we eating. She know we eating.
Right. Right.
Had to be spotless.
Yeah, it's just it's a feel, it's a thing. And like you said, nobody, it's just picked up uh environmentally. It's not that somebody is always saying do this, do that, but it just becomes the expectation.
Right.
And I look now and I'm like, because of course these are people that I still to this day admire, love. I just wonder, be honest, I just wonder how free they are. You
Right.
know, the people in my life that I love, I care about. I wonder, and we're gonna get back to your journey, but this is, this I love this. I just wonder if they're free. They have Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
They love Jesus. They're productive citizens. They're sweet. But at 60, 70, are they true to themselves?
All
Or
right.
are they true to who they've had to become, to
Ex-
feel accepted, to feel, admired? How do they really feel though? And so
Exactly.
sometimes that kind of saddens me because
Oh,
I'm like,
absolutely heartbreaking to
yeah.
think, just because what if, I think, um, just say a hobby, if you like a certain thing, but that's not normal, or that's not
Hmm. Hmm.
camping, for
Right.
example. If you want to
Right.
go camp, black person, what you're doing that, it's just like, but I love,
Right.
and that's one thing, like with my parents, they've embraced that. And I think too, I would like to say that I've helped them break out some of those things that they've been ingrained to because we do different things and they go camping now. That's not a thing that we did growing up. People didn't do that. You
Right.
know, even go on a hike to say that you could do that, just to really explore that that deep longing inside. And that breaks my heart too, because I know that a lot of people are not free in that way.
Right. Right. And it took me, oh, like I said, into my 40s and again, probably at 50, because I feel like it's as you grow and develop and mature, you realize the areas that you have not grown and developed and matured in. And I find I remember I just find myself saying, oh, what do I like? Or do I really like that? Or even down to the way we dress.
Mhm.
Girl, my mama and my sisters look
Look, they gonna still
bad.
thing I know about Miss Mary Bush is she finna be clean. Okay.
Exactly. And so I'm showing up at the house, I guess, looking like Frumpy Dumpy because I want to be comfortable. And it's funny, even one of the appointments that I had to take my parents to, my dad's doctor's appointment, but the doctor always looks at my mom like, oh, I love those. She gonna love something mama's got on, if it's the outfit or the purse or the jewelry or something. She's like, you were just always so well put together. You just always look so good. And then she glimpses at me like, okay, yeah, let me go over. And I'm like, right, baby, because me and you, we look alike. I'm like,
Right.
but yeah,
That's
huh,
a that's me and my mama. Cause like my mama, she is just like, and then like her and daddy, they be matching. And I show up beside them like, where this girl going?
right. It is, but and it's beautiful. Like you say, it's some of the things that we admire about them. But then I know I was struggling trying to be that like, because I just wanted some sweatpants. I remember I went from going to college with like church suits on for real. So probably the next semester I was in a t-shirt and sweats. And
And
it,
I got to the point where I told my mama, I told her this. I said, Mama, that is not me. That's not me. And
mhm,
because she said, I don't know where you got this from. I want to do this one. I said, Mama, that's not me.
mhm,
That's not me. Just from even the clothes and like my mom's house, it's immaculate. Like mama's house is one of those places you could eat off the floor. Here, you might want to do that 5 second rule. And it's that just even that pressure. Like when I started having kids, I met one of my mentors, actually from Jamaica, and she told me in her accent, she said, Jakell, you want to live in your house or you want to look like a magazine? Like how she said, you live here. Because she came over to my house one day and she was like, I said, Talia, I'm so sorry for the mess. I'm so sorry. She said, well, you live here. Because she had 4 kids as well. And she said, this is your home. This is
right,
not a magazine. We're not doing a photo shoot. You live here.
right,
And that, when she came, I remember like that freed me.
yeah,
That freed me because now, no, we don't live in a dump. Yes, kids have to clean
right,
responsibilities, but sometimes like, no, we're not gonna make up the bed.
uh-huh,
Sometimes we having a pajama day.
right, right.
Yeah,
Yeah. And
just
I think there's a level of freedom and just being able to, because people don't realize it, you exert a lot of energy trying to be rather than just being.
oh my gosh. Isn't it?
Yeah, trying to be will take you out. And so I know we got to jump back into the journey. So even when you're talking about um how you felt as a child having to, you felt, live up to certain standards, do certain things. Like I said, there's that pressure. And I guess at a level, it helps because we both, I'm sure, have friends who had their parents had no standards, no rules, no expectations. And so it's not like we're sitting here saying we lived a horrible life by any means. We were well loved, but being well loved, I'm learning to try to actually love on the younger people in my life, because so many times it was just the expectation. There
Mhm.
wasn't a lot of, well, I know I can speak for me, but I feel like we're same family,
Yeah,
same community.
yeah,
There wasn't a lot of the affirmation, just affirming who they were. It was, like I said, it was the expectation.
right,
So of course you got a congratulations or, oh, I'm so proud of you, but it wasn't, it wasn't just this very, how do I say it? Nurturing wasn't explicitly expressed.
right, right, right. And you couldn't say, and when you said that, I just remember being, you could only share the positives. Like, well, I did this at my track meet today. And because I wasn't academically
Mm-hmm.
gifted, so athletically, that's where I had to shine. And I felt like I needed to say, well, I've made it to state in my track meet. I did this. Like I felt like those things I couldn't say. I've been really feeling down lately. Me and my best friend got in an argument, or me and mama not seeing eye to eye. You couldn't say that. You just had to. You only could go with the good news. You could only say, well, yeah, I'm going to college. And then I remember even when I went to college, that I know that God used those years to shape and mold me, but I had no plan when I went to college. It just was, that was the next step. And when somebody asked you, oh, now you graduating, what you're about to do. And so
Right.
I had something. And so that was birthed out of me doing the expected thing
Mm-hmm.
to make
Mm-hmm.
somebody proud. And that's something, like in my later 30s that I'm dealing with now, is that, like you had to explain, well, I'm doing this now, well, because I'm staying home. I remember when I decided to be a stay-at-home mom, which is unheard of in our community,
Right.
going back to work. So it's just like stayed away because I didn't want anybody asking me when was I going back to work, but I was enjoying my children.
Yeah.
I was snuggling with them. I was just loving on my babies. And then the expectation was, well, when you going back to work? What you gonna do now? Well, what you
Right. Right.
it was always, you had to be striving. If you got a bachelor's, when you going for your master's, if you had a boyfriend, when y'all get married, if you got married, it was always the expectation of, you gotta, what's next?
Right.
You couldn't just be.
Thanks so much for joining us today. If you've been blessed by today's show, feel free to let us know. And if you'd like to sow into this ministry, become a sponsor, or contact us, you can reach us at 803-221-0169. Or you can email us at the ssbbshow@gmail.com. Let's continue this journey together.